Hi guys, welcome back to Transits and Tactics. I hope you had a productive weekend, not weekend, transit in Gate 42 as we covered it last time. It was so good for completing cycles and, starting the projects or completing the projects. So I've definitely completed so much. Oh my God, I do feel exhausted. And just from that energy into the energy of new beginnings. So we are experiencing the solar transit in gate 3, the gate of ordering, and it's known as difficulty at the beginning because it brings several themes. One of the themes that it's bringing anything new is bringing the theme of confusion, because when we start something, it's overwhelming. You have been there with absolutely everything, like absolutely everything new that we start. We always suck at it. We're always confused. There's always, we don't know what to do, what will bring results, what will not bring results. So this is exactly the energy where you have to evaluate where are you putting energy into, and especially if you have this gate in an open center. For example, I have it's a sacral center gate. My sacral is undefined. I do have Chiron. My Chiron is in gate 3 on both sides of the chart. So this energy is there in my life, but it's not on the main sort of chart, and so it's really important for someone like me to think about where am I putting my energy and my personal resources, and is it sustainable? And I think that, anyone who's worked with me or followed me, and I've just literally completed my second book that talks about this, about choosing what resources to put into your business so that it can be sustainable. Because if you don't, you're just going to get burnt out. And when you're burnt out, you're paralyzed and everything stalls, so there is no progress. And it's so wonderful to sort of start this new, week and understand, okay, there's this new energy, where we go from here, and take some time to evaluate, and kind of be selfish, put yourself first in these decisions, your energy levels, your preferences. It's going to make a big difference. And also remember, we're adults. We always want everything quick. We want to be good at everything straight away. And if we're not, we shy, most of us sort of conditioned to shine away. And, if something doesn't work out, yeah, like I tried it once, it didn't work. And we forget that it took us, way over a year to learn to walk, and more than that to learn to talk. And some of us can be really frustrated. I have a manifestor nephew, and before he was able to speak, with sentences, he was so angry at the world because he just kept pointing and screaming and crying, so frustrated. But we adults, we forget because there's no memories of that, of the struggles, of the bumping into things, falling, not being able to be understood, right? So we never give it credit. We never give this new difficulty in the beginning credit. And I am a big ambassador. Just accept that you're going to suck in the beginning. It's going to be confusing. And yes, it's a very, very scary place to be, but you have to commit to it and you have to go through. Only then will you see the results. Only then will you know if it works or doesn't work in the long run, right? So we kind of have to try. There's another theme that Gate 3 is bringing to us, and it is an energy of melancholy. Because, with the new, there's also the unknown, and we can be questioning whether we have the capability, whether we have what it takes, in this difficult moment. And sometimes, it can get really, like, it can get depressing thinking about this. And to be honest with you, when you don't feel like you have a capability to do something, one of my clients wonderfully put this, if you want to achieve something, you have to address what capability you need to develop in order to achieve that. So it's not about saying, oh, I can't. It's about saying, what can I learn, do, who can I ask, what can I tap into in my immediate world so that I can gain this skill, master something, have the capability to achieve my goals. And if the goal is asking for the capability that you're not prepared to sacrifice as much as it requires to achieve, maybe that's not the goal for you. It's also really important to consider. I, for example, don't have an ambition to run a 7-figure business because I know that that business will come at the cost of my personal freedom. unlike we believe in the beginning, right? Because if you talk to anyone who's running a business like that, they are much more constrained with their businesses than, before that level. So I don't want to be there. It's not my world. And I consciously make decisions, not to scale and not to use strategies that would bring me there, because I know it's not going to be sustainable for me. That's an example of this kind of consideration. We also have Earth grounding us in gate 50, and this is the gate of values. And so whatever new beginnings we're entering now, we can evaluate, do these opportunities or beginnings, how are they aligned with our values? Or sometimes we can say, how can we adjust our values in a way so that our life can become more healthy in its direction? Because values are something that also changes over time. It doesn't have to be the opposite, completely U-turn from what you believe. Although sometimes if personal growth requires, please, this is nobody is a judge of you but you, right? But sometimes we can just think about how can we take more responsibility for our action? How can we support those who are affected directly by what we are beginning or what process we're in, and also understand that not everyone manages change very well. In fact, most people don't resist change. They don't accept change. So this energy is teaching us to be more flexible, but also understand that you might be struggling with the change, they might be struggling with the change. It's just going to be difficult in the beginning until we come to some sort of clarity on the direction. And I really truly think it's the story of my life, and this is probably how the Chiron, my wounding, the problems I have, I always struggle in beginning of everything, absolutely everything, and I resist it and I fight for my right to party, and yet I persevere and I do make these U-turns, and everything I've fought against I embrace, and it's just brings amazing results when I do. So I do know this energy very well. If you have gate 60 in your chart, but you don't have gate 3, then you're going to be experiencing this very powerful channel, the channel of mutation 360. And this is what they refer to as format channels. So this channel overrides anything else in your design, and it brings this real powerful energy of like bringing renewal. So it's it's dramatic change, basically. It's the moment you think that everything is okay, something happens again, and then bam, you're in chaos again. Again, I know this energy so well. Literally every time I feel like, okay, I can breathe out, I can settle, something else, and always from the unexpected sources as well. So these are the energies that we're starting as we're recording this. Is first day of the transit. It's interesting what it's going to bring to us. Anita, what do you have to say about this?
Yeah, that's such a good description that you gave right there. This energy, I think it's like the butterfly coming out of the chrysalis. It's the ability to appreciate the value of the struggle and understanding that the more you resist it, the more it persists. And with this energy, it is a new beginning. It's into the sacral area, which is the work area, work and relationships. So it's very prevalent for our business. And at the moment, there's two pressures, right? There's the pressure of this gate, this energy, which is, difficulty in new beginnings. So there's effort required, right? And then the opposite is all the planets are direct now. So there's that impetus to all systems go, and you have this struggle. So what can happen there is you build an urgency in your body that you can often mistake as stress, and that's where you burn out. It's harder to connect with that inner yes. So a really good way of describing this is you're feeling the pressure to move, to go forward with all those planets, and you say, for example, you're after saying yes to a job that is actually a no for you. Anxiety about needing the money has you in a position where you had to take that job. Now, here's what you need to be very aware of when you're manifesting. I hope I can get this across clearly. That pressure is actually natural in your body. The best way to shift it is by moving or by awareness or reframing of, I'm just doing this job until the right opportunity comes along, rather than getting caught in the struggle, which will resist the new job. right? So that's what you need to be for. You see so many people, oh, I'm in this dead end job. I hate my job. And the reason you need to just reframe that energy so you're allowing it to move when when it's ready to go. The other thing is that, as I said, it's like the seedling breaking through the soil. It's really understanding that this is innovative new energy. It is new. It takes more energy when you're starting something new from this position because it's usually innovative. You've built on something that you've done before, but you've innovated it, you've made it something bigger, something greater. And after last week, when you learn your own cycles and your own beginnings and endings, you can now use what Juliette is talking about, finish all those things, and realize when you complete things like that, it takes energy. Take the time to refresh. Take the time to re-nurture your balance, your energy, so that you're ready for the next steps with it, right? So it's really cool. I mean, there's so much going on. I mean, Venus has just gone direct and it's conjunct Saturn and the North Node. So this means that our future direction with respect to crisis is changing. We're going to start to embrace this struggle instead of resist it. We're going to start to recognize, hang on, when I say no or when I get a no, that means I don't have energy for something. And if I don't have energy for something and I do it anyway, it is draining and it does lead to burnout. So I need to be careful. And when I realize I'm doing that, when I realize I'm doing something just because I'm afraid not to, um, I can shift my energy first. And that's what brings in the new opportunity rather than getting stuck in that job that you hate, right? So this is really powerful. So I would harness the energies. I would literally like sit down in whatever your meditation is on the day, or put your feet on the ground and take a few breaths and open up to harnessing the energy of these transits to bring you through to bring you out of that chrysalis. Because let's face it, the chrysalis isn't it's a it doesn't look very clear. It's all crinkled up and it's all, whereas when the butterfly comes out, then the detail, the clarity around what happens when you come out of that, you can actually mentally and emotionally reset your energy to move. You will feel the frustration though around it. It is the sac. So you will feel, oh my God, when is this going to break through? And immediately hand on heart and kind of go, oh, I'm in the breakthrough energy. I just need to calm down. And as Juliette said, what needs to happen to bring this through, to break through this potential or perceived block rather than getting stuck and trying to fix something that's not actually broken. All right. So these are super tips on manifesting today, because this is everybody feels this energy before they start something new where it feels like everything has gone to shit in a handbasket. Like everything just doesn't seem to be working the way you think it should. And the best way to evaluate whether you need to, if it's not working, whether you need to drop it or not, is getting into that center, reconnecting with your yes, and understanding that, okay, the frustration can mean three things. I'm either breaking through, it's breaking down, it's not going to work, so stop pushing, or there's something there that I'm after triggering that I need to heal. Okay, so it's really cool. This is huge for the generator and manifesting generator, because they come to this plateau of they've practiced everything, they've done everything, they've done everything they could, and there's nothing new happening. And this is normal for them. And sometimes they get carried away in the frustration instead of realizing, what if it's a breakthrough? And that question alone will shift your energy. I mean, it's really cool. So these energies are very supportive of us recognizing the crisis for what it is, reevaluating what needs to be done, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be dropped, and take that next step.
Mm. And it's also really important. Most of us do some form of gardening, guys, and have house plants and stuff. I just recently had a few like small little things I cut off my sister's plants and I put them in the water. And every day I'm coming up and I'm like, is there roots? Where are the roots? Why are the leaves so droopy? And I can't wait for them to get better, to give root. And it's going to happen. I laugh at myself because this is exactly this pushing in the beginning, and it's difficult and it's impatient and you don't know what's going on. Are they alive? Are they not alive? Am I doing something wrong? Is it how it's
Mm,
meant to be? And the funny thing is that whatever we are starting now is going to have this opening whenever it's meant to be. This is the energy that you can't push. And so when we're pushing, we're just adding to this frustration. And plus this gate, as I, described earlier, it does have this melancholic sense to it. So it can make you depressed. You can feel very sad. And, that it's your fault, or it depends, if you have a small split, it's always going to be something's wrong with you. If you have a large split, it's always going to be their fault. I don't know how triple splits, who do you guys blame? But there
mm,
is always something going on, so we can kind of fall into that pit and don't even realize this. So
mm,
just be aware. I think that this is why we're recording these transits, and we have done this for almost a year, because it it's everything is okay with you. You're just where you meant to be, and in a state you're meant to be. Not maybe in a state, in a mental state or emotional state, but kind of in a process where you're meant to be. Everything that all decisions you've made brought you to this point, but you have control over what decisions you're making now, and a decision to sometimes take it easy and practice a little love, and just hold back a little bit. This is not the week to jump into things full-heartedly. This is evaluation. This is where there is no clarity yet for action. Something is starting, it feels hard. But I think that we were talking about it maybe last time, about burning the ship. Commit to your decisions, whatever decisions you're making. If your strategy is correct as you're entering this endeavor, if your authority is a yes, commit. And it's going to be hard, and it's going to be, in the beginning. But then there will be a breakthrough because you made a decision to follow through, and you just have to go through this initial, you know, confusion. And it's okay. We are so afraid of this one stage. In fact, I think that that's why most of the online business fail, which they do. Most of the online businesses, people start online businesses, and most of them fail very early, half a year, people just don't persevere because it's so confusing. They don't know what to do. They're trying things don't work immediately, which they never do. And so, it's so hard. It's so hard. And there's just no staying power, and people give up. But it's also not for everyone, trust me, because you do have to have that staying power in the first place to succeed in anything, and businesses just as much, So don't be buying into this, having an online business is an easy thing. It's not, and it's a constant personal development story, and you're constantly fighting not just with the things within your business, but within yourself. And so these transits sometimes also add this, heavy energy. Let's say like now, the confusion and, how am I going? Where am I going to go from here? Overwhelm. But it's
yeah,
okay. Everything will pass, especially with the transits. That will pass in 6 days. And what's
yeah.
going to be left is you and your decisions you've made. You
And
want
if
to
you
add
don't
something?
mind, yeah, yeah, I do actually, just before I go, because with the business, while it is difficult to start or whatever, what's important is just realizing that when you reevaluate, business is about change. So we actually all have our own change process. Your human design tells you what your change process is. So what I notice a lot of people with business are trying to look for the happy ever after. They're looking for the one thing that'll bring them over the line to their retirement or whatever that is, or the one thing that they can just keep regurgitating. And that's not really how business works for most companies. It's about being able to read the room. It's about being able to adapt with the times. And this is really adaptive energy that we have here. And there's normal pressure from the root to the sacral. There's normal pressure to take action, not to mind the pressure of doing something new. So, it's realizing you will feel the pressure to take action, But the reason a lot of the online are a lot of actually predominantly entrepreneurs, there's a very poor percentage of success, is because they're using the urgency and the stress as their driver instead of staying connected to their inner yes. And it does make a big difference. It does take practice.
Yeah.
But there's a point where this is natural pressure. There is nothing wrong. But because we may have read the urgency incorrectly, we jump in with that. And I used to notice this when I was doing stress management with engineers of all people. I would say your body goes into that natural state of urgency when it's coming up to 12 o'clock, when it's something that but it's telling you you need to eat. But most people misread that energy and say, oh, I better work through lunch and get this done because, and they keep going, feeling pressure, but they've just misread the pressure. Pressure is the body saying, hey, food, please, So it's when you know this, you can really work this energy beautifully, um, and move through it in a very wise way. I don't have this energy, my daughter does. But and I see her like you, Juliet. She will struggle at the beginning, but once she gets through, it's like all the doubt goes away, all the questioning what's wrong goes away, and you start questioning, well, what is necessary? It's really cool. I just wanted to add that.
Yes, it is actually, it's not about energy. It's a cool energy. I'm looking at, the course of my life with the Chiron. Chiron is, this is big lessons in life, so I'm thrown into these hard beginnings all the time. It's whether it's not on my, regular human design chart even, because not every chart even shows that. So I wouldn't have known if I didn't dive deeper what's going on. But it's not even about me knowing what's going on. The thing is going on whether I know about it or not, right? This things. I think that I call myself like a manifestation level expert because I saw there's a GIF somewhere going on or a meme with a rabbit, and then there's this like almost like on a fractal carrots around him and says manifestation level expert. That's me. All my dreams come true. Everything I focus on literally comes true, sometimes almost immediately, and not maybe in a form I initially thought it will, but I can't believe how things are happening. But yes, in the beginning, it's always super confusing. I just got married. I'm living in new beginnings altogether. I got married last year. I'm in a new apartment now. It takes me so long to settle, so long to feel okay with my first line, always on guard and looking for cracks, and when the moment I settle, there'll be something else that I'm starting again and new confusion comes in. But it's okay because that's just sort of like a driver in life. Otherwise, it would be just boring. Because somebody in my circle said it, and I just love it. When everything is okay, it's like melting chocolate. I love it because yeah, it's kind of gooey. It's all over the place. So let's pull ourselves together, face this new beginning. It's okay to be confused. It's part of the change. I loved what Anita, what you said about understanding your body signals, because yes, we misinterpret our body signals, and it's very important that we take responsibility for fueling our body more responsibly, because that's where I find that when we neglect our bodies, that's where all the stresses and all that pressure and all the frustration, it doubles, triples, and takes over us, right? So the physical really needs to be taken care of before your business, before even your mental, that's when everything starts working. This is just my personal experience as well. So guys, it's only 6 days, right? If it's going to be a difficult one, just don't rush into any decisions, right? Put yourself first, be selfish about whether you have resources or not for it, and give it time. Don't push. Just because you want something new to happen, no matter what you do, it's going to happen when it's meant to happen. So have faith and have patience. And we will see you in the next transit. And for now, goodbye.